I'm not giving you hearsay. He interviewed his candidates and said to them, one of the qualifications for Attorney General was, will you promise that you will defend Judge Roy Moore all the way to the Supreme Court? All the way. Will you support Judge Moore? That little weasel, Judas turncoat, Bill Pryor, said, yes, Governor, I will support Judge Moore all the way to the Supreme Court. But Karl Rove came to town. And said to Bill, how would you like to have a federal judgeship? All you got to do is prosecute Roy Moore. And that little snake in the grass did exactly that. He sold his soul for 30 pieces of silver, known as a federal judgeship. And he stood in front of the nation and he prosecuted Judge Roy Moore. And after he successfully got Roy Moore off the bench, he knew that his political career was over in Alabama. He knew he couldn't have been elected dog catcher in Alabama. He didn't have to worry about it, because within weeks, President Bush, in a recess appointment, gave Pryor his promised federal judgeship, and he sits on the federal bench today. That's the stuff that's going on in Washington, D.C. that nobody wants to tell you about. But I want you to notice here, it could not have happened had Fob James remained governor of Alabama. The only way it could happen was because of the new governor who came in the hip pocket of the National Republican Party in the White House in Washington, D.C., rolled over and gave up his Supreme Court Chief Justice. If I were governor of the state of Montana, I'd do a couple of things. Well, the first things I'd do is I'd say, you know, I'm pretty sure you've got it in your state constitution, and Rick Jor could probably give you a chapter and verse. There is such an entity right here in Montana called the State Guard. Don't be confused with the National Guard. The National Guard is an entity that legally can be called up by the President of the United States, and when that happens, becomes the subservient to the President. Takes his control away from the governor and gives it to the President. That's the National Guard. That's why we send our guys over to Iraq and Afghanistan, National Guard. President takes them and sends them where he wants to. The State Guard can never be taken outside the control of the governor of the state. The State Guard works for the governor and for the governor only. One of the first things I would do as governor is I would re-energize and reorganize and re-emphasize the State Guard of Montana. We will protect the people of Montana. We'll protect the Constitution of Montana. And we will do it, so help us God, with the authority that God has given to us as an independent, sovereign state. Right. Another thing I'd do is I'd call a meeting of all the sheriffs to Helena. And I'd say, fellas, I want you to know something. Every one of you took an oath to the Constitution. And as the chief executive of this state, I expect each and every one of you to uphold your oath of office. You will not harangue, you will not harass, you will not allow anybody in your department to harangue or harass the citizens of the state of Montana. You will not allow the ATF to harass the citizens of Montana. You will not allow the BLM to harass the citizens of Montana. We will maintain constitutional government in the state of Montana. And I will support you as a sheriff to uphold your oath of office. And oh, by the way, if you choose not to uphold your oath of office to the Constitution and you allow these unconstitutional things to happen against the citizens of this state, you will have the biggest enemy you can think of in this capital. The problem is, the states have allowed the federal government to bribe them into submission by government handouts. It's time that we had a governor and a legislature that said to the federal government, we don't want your money, we don't want your rules, we don't want your regulations, we don't want your oppression. Leave us alone. The greatest commodity of Montana is not your resources. It's not your beautiful mountains. It's not Glacier National Park. It's not the beautiful valleys and all the things that we see that you have in rich abundance here in this great state. That is not your greatest resource. Your women.